What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. It is Thursday night as I record this, August 24th. You guys probably got a ton of drafts you getting ready for this weekend and hopefully Labor Day weekend as well. What we're doing today is a Yahoo mock draft. This is a request from Jeffrey Jenks 8000. He asked if you could do a Yahoo half PPR, 10 man with the 10th pick. That's what we're doing. We are waiting for the lobby. It starts in about a minute, but I just want to get some housekeeping out of the way real quick. We do have a brand new Discord, guys. I just started it this week. If you guys want to hang out and start sit questions, waiver wire questions, all that stuff is available here. There is a link in the description. If you guys use Discord, please join it. That's where I'm going to be answering all my start sits, my waiver wires, trade talks, all that good stuff. And then I'm basically just trying to create a community where you guys can help each other out and just be better at fantasy football. So we got that going for us. And shout out to you guys. Like, if you're new, thanks for subscribing to the channel. We just crossed 900 this morning here. We're going to 1,000 next, and I'm still on track for my goal. I want to get 1,000 subs by Detroit, Kansas City kickoff for the 2023 season. So subscribe if you're new. Sit tight. We're gonna hang out here, do some mock drafting, and then I do have a I do have a special video on Saturday, August 26th. Saturday morning, I'm doing a mock draft marathon. So come hang out. You guys can ask questions. You guys can hop in mock lobbies with me and figure that stuff out along the way. But from 9 a.m. Central Time, I'm going to go live for about 2-3 hours, and we're just going to be mocking, and mock drafting. It's a marathon. But we're off underway here. This one's moving quick here. CMC, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, good to go here. Tyreek Hill at the 10 spot. I think in a 10-team league, I do see a value in having Travis Kelce because you just get the top tight end. I also see value of having, a top end quarterback, but I think at the 10 spot, it's too early to be taking a quarterback at 10 and 11th overall. So we're probably out on the top 3 QBs. One of those guys would have to fall to us in the 3rd or the 4th round. So we'll see what happens. But otherwise, with the 10th overall pick, I think my overall strategy is you got to get one stud running back, especially in a half PPR setting here. I have identified 6 running backs that I view as worth a 1st or 2nd round pick. That's CMC, Eckler, Chubb, Bijan, Tony Pollard, and then the last one is going to be Saquon Barkley. So we're on the clock. We missed out on the top 4 guys that I mentioned, but if I go to the players tab here, it is giving me Bijan Robinson, the top running back on the board. So I'm going to make him my 1st overall pick. We'll hit the draft button on Bijan. And then here, I do like the receivers, Diggs, Lamb, AJ Brown, Tony Pollard. I kind of want to just grab Tony Pollard, though, because in my flex rankings here, if I were to filter, I got about 10 seconds here. If I filter by half PPR, it's gonna put Bijan and Tony Pollard as my 6th and 7th best players. So that's what I'm gonna do here at the 10 spot. If you're up to pick and you can get 2 stud running backs, you got to do it. If I didn't take Tony Pollard here, I'm probably taking AJ Brown in a half PPR format. I do think AJ Brown's a fantastic pick. Otherwise, again, Stephon Diggs, a good player to take here. I have Josh Jacobs ranked really high and Derrick Henry ranked really high, but I'm not excited about those guys. So for us to start a half PPR draft with Bijan and Tony Pollard, like, we're locking in 650 touches between the two of them and probably like 25, almost 30 touchdowns. So I feel really good about that running back start from the 10 hole. And we'll go back to the draft board here. I'm assuming there's, in a 10-man league, I think there's going to be some really, really good wide receivers for us at the 3-4 turn. So I'm not concerned about it. If you're using the default standings here or the default roster settings for a Yahoo league, you get 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. So we're going to reevaluate the wide receiver position. I do have some sleepers for us throughout the way here. But again, we get 2 of my top 7 ranked players here at 10 and 11. Tony Pollard and Bijan Robinson. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And you can tell here, I have this huge cluster of wide receivers. I think 2 of these guys will be here for us. So we'll evaluate that when it's time. But after I take Tony Pollard, you got Diggs, Lamb, Henry, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, who I'm just not taking. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a fantastic pick. And then Garrett Wilson. We'll see who ends the end of the round 2 here. And we got some football starting in about 12 minutes, so I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to see, I think, almost a full half of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it sounds like we're going to see some Anthony Richardson at some point tonight, too, for about a quarter and a half. So some good preseason week 3 action. Let me know in the comments if you guys are drafting this weekend or if you're drafting Labor Day. My number one rule is you want to be drafting Labor Day. We've got some wide receiver injuries that we're dodging now. It's best to wait for that last weekend. And with this being the last week of preseason, next week, these teams are going to start going into their regular routine for practices. So you're not going to get a lot of tackling and things like that. Hopefully, as long as we get through this weekend unscathed, we're done with fantasy football injuries until week 1 starts. So anyways, we're into the 3rd round. Jalen Waddle did end up being the 2nd round ultimate pick there. Chris Olave, fantastic pick at the top of the 3rd. And then you got a running back run here of Jacobs, Najee, Etienne, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ramondre. So I'm feeling pretty good about our running back start. Our running back start of Bijan and Tony Pollard feels fantastic. And then the quarterbacks are falling here. Pat Mahomes. I don't know about Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. I don't know if I want to do that because we do need wide receivers here. But if you wanted to take one of Hurts or Josh Allen, I think you could do so. I'm expecting Graham here at number 9 to grab Josh Allen, but he grabs Breece Hall and Joe Mixon. So we're on the board here. Devonta Smith is one of the studs that fall to us, so I'm going to grab him for sure. We'll grab Devonta Smith and make him our wide receiver 1. Otherwise, I mean, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, these guys are studs. With the injury to Jackson Smith and the Jigba, that does boost DK Metcalf up in my rankings. Now, here's the deal. I grabbed one of my best receivers, Devonta Smith. If I want to draft Jalen Hurts here, I'm giving you permission to do so. You can totally do it. I think for science here, I'm going to wait on Jalen Hurts. He's a dynamite pick in the 4th round. He shouldn't be here. But I think I'm going to go with DK Metcalf. In a half PPR league, I need receivers. I'm not going to probably like the receivers when it comes back. I think I'm going to like the quarterbacks throughout the draft. I'm going to grab DK Metcalf. But hey, if you wanted to grab Jalen Hurts here, that would have been the spot to do it. You stack Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. That's a lot of fun. So for me, though, we're going to grab DK Metcalf, who is one of my favorite wide receivers. He's my 22nd ranked player. In half PPR league formats right now. Devonta Smith down actually a little bit at 28. So we get 2 really good wide receivers in my top 30. And then with the sheet that we're looking at here, I've removed I've removed quarterback. So we're just looking at the flex players here. And these are my projections that I do. You guys can check out all this on the fantasyfellowship.com. Just click on the 2023 playbook. There should be a link in the description for you, but it's all there. All the projections and the rankings are free on the site. But let's go back to the draft board. And again, Jalen Hurts went right after I didn't take him. So he would have been a great pick. But again, for science here, I want to see what we can do. We grabbed Bijan and Pollard, Devonta Smith, and DK Metcalf. We have a really rock solid team right now. I'm pretty bullish on DK Metcalf, guys. I know a lot of people in the fantasy industry are kind of like poo-pooing DK Metcalf, but I don't get it. I think he's going to go for a pretty big season this year. Hopefully he gets back over double-digit touchdowns. That's what's going to be what makes or break his season for us. But either way, this Jackson Smith and the Jigba injury with the broken bone in the wrist, that's going to open up more opportunities for DK Metcalf, especially early in the season, to get some momentum going. And I just think he's a really good player. So after DK, you got Hurts, Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, Mark Andrews, Keenan Allen. There goes Josh Allen, Aaron Jones, Mark Cooper, and Kenneth Walker, end of the 4th round. 2 fantastic picks here. If you wanted to wait for running back, Dameon Pierce and J.K. Dobbins are 2 of my favorite picks, especially in a half PPR format. I'm not taking T.J. Hawkinson. I don't think that's a good pick. Deebo Samuel, I like Deebo, especially. I love Deebo in a half PPR. That's the league format that you want him in. So great pick there in the 5th round. And then at this point, because we're nice and balanced, we got 2 RBs, 2 receivers, we can kind of do whatever we want. If we wanted to grab a quarterback here, we could do so. And in fact, I think we might, because one of my favorite quarterback strategies is I want to get a quarterback that's being drafted roughly outside the top 5, but has top 5, top 3 upside. And I got a couple for you. We now have all 5 QBs off the board: Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Lamar, and Justin Fields. So for us to grab a QB at the 5-6 turn, it makes sense. There's 2 guys that are still on the board that are elite QB prospects: Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. We'll see if they fall to us. We just have to wait for Chris, because I don't think Justin or Graham here are going to take a QB2. But you never know. Things get weird sometimes in these drafts, but I'm liking how it's going so far. And we can maybe stack a receiver with them. I'm not interested in these running backs, Sanders, Madison. I'm really not interested in a lot of these guys here. So I think we're going to end up passing some of these. Now, I'm looking for Justin Herbert, and he's really low on the list. I do not know why he is so low. Miles Sanders, Cam Akers off the board. We'll see what Graham does. He goes with Brandon Ayuk. So if I'm sticking to ADP, Lockett's on the top. McLaurin's hurt. I do like Drake London quite a bit. Deontay Johnson, I also like quite a bit here. But I'll tell you what, we're gonna go with the QB. I'm gonna get my guy Justin Herbert. I think he's better than Burrow and Trevor Lawrence this year. He's actually projected for more than Trevor Lawrence. So we're gonna grab Justin Herbert here, and then let's go look at the running backs real quick. I love David Montgomery. We're probably not going to get David Montgomery to come back to us. He's one of my favorite players. We can put him in the flex if we wanted to. And then I'm hoping if there's a chance Mike Williams falls back to us, that's probably going to be the pick on the turn. But let's grab our running back 3, David Montgomery. I think he's locked into a ton of touches. He's going to blow these projections out of the water. I mean, they gave freaking Jamal Williams over 250 carries, 1,000 yards, and 17 touchdowns last year. I think Montgomery and Gibbs are both good picks. In a half PPR format, though, I think I prefer David Montgomery to Jahmyr Gibbs. So now we're pretty much set. We got our flex. We got 3 really good running backs in a half PPR format. We got 2 really good receivers. I got my QB1, Justin Herbert. We'll see if we can get Mike Williams to come back to us on the turn. And then I got my sleeper receiver that we're going to be grabbing, and maybe a tight end. I got 3 guys on the brain. We're not going to be able to get all 3 of them, but we'll evaluate it and see what we can do here for you guys. But we're having fun. We're having fun here. After I take Montgomery, you got Madison, Joe Burrow, Tyler Lockett off the board. Some good picks here. Again, I like Joe Burrow. He's one of the sleepers, and he's falling right now because of that calf strain that he had. I think he's going to be fine. I expect him to play week 1. He's going to be off he's going to have a full month of time to heal. I mean, this injury happened 2-3 weeks ago, and we still don't have a freaking game until 2 weeks. So it's looking good for Burrow. Lockett, DJ Moore, Javonte, McLaurin, Drake London, George Kittle, which I don't like Hawkinson. I don't like Kittle. I got 2 stud tight ends. If you want to do this strategy, what I do is I'm trying to get Darren Waller first. Darren Waller is going to be a beast this year. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. But when he's healthy, we know he's going to be a really good tight end. He's the number 1 receiver for the Giants, essentially. So the fact that you can start Waller at tight end it doesn't make sense. He's a wide receiver. So if I can't get Waller, I'm going after Dallas Goedert, who I absolutely love at the tight end position. He is a top 5 tight end for me. I think he could have a chance at being 8, 9, 10 touchdowns in the Eagles offense. Love Dallas Goedert. And you can start to see here the tight ends are coming off the board. You got some QBs coming off the board as well. So I'm glad we grabbed Herbert because he wasn't coming back. And there goes Darren Waller. So if you really want Darren Waller in this 10th overall spot here, you got to take him where we took David Montgomery. I think that's the clear rule here. When I'm up at 7-10, 8-1, I'm going to grab a tight end, and it's probably going to be Dallas Goedert. Hopefully he falls to us. Otherwise, I'm looking for Mike Williams. Oh, there goes Goddard. So we missed on my stud tight ends, Dallas Goedert and Darren Waller. That hurts a little bit. In a 10-team league, I guess you can't get him at the 7-10 spot, but maybe you can. If Goddard was here, I was going to go with Dallas Goedert, but we're on deck now, so I got to get everything in line here. I'm going to go with the Chargers receiver here, Mike Williams, who I think has a really good season on deck here. He's going to be lining up in the slot a lot more this year, which is very exciting. I do stack him with Justin Herbert. He's my 3rd receiver. He's technically on the bench for us, which is great. And then here you go. The sleeper pick for this season, guys, make sure you draft Jahan Dotson. He is that dude. He might be better than Terry McLaurin, and McLaurin's got a toe sprain right now. I don't expect Terry McLaurin to be 100% the first few games. Jahan Dotson could just get off to a huge hot streak. I'm taking Jahan Dotson over Terry McLaurin. So we have 4 good receivers now. Devonta, DK, Mike Will, Jahan Dotson. At this point, I think I'm fine punting on the tight end position. If we can get my guy, Pat Freiermuth, that is ideal. Otherwise, I'm going to make a dirty duo at the end of the draft. So worst case scenario, we didn't get Waller. We didn't get Goddard. Pat Freiermuth is the next tight end that I really, 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 really want. And as I'm looking here, it looks like almost every team has a tight end. Except Graham, number 9 here, doesn't have a tight end. And it looks like this first overall pick. So only 2 teams do not have a tight end. We'll see if Pat Daddy Freiermuth can come back to us. People are picking defenses. That might be an auto pick. Do not take defense this early, guys. You'll be fine. You don't need a defense this early. You got to continue to stack these running backs, receivers, and tight ends and quarterbacks. It's defense this early is a bad pick. So I don't know why Yahoo has them ranked so high. I get it. They get points, but For me, I like playing the matchups like week to week. If I can find a defense that I'm going to start for like 2 or 3 weeks, that's usually what I will try and do. And you can see we're probably getting a lot of auto picks here. So the Yahoo mock draft might be broken now. We're on auto pick. You're probably going to see some kickers coming up here. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, we're moving into the ninth round here. 5 defenses went in this round. Otherwise, Alvin Kamara is a great pick. Deontay, Pacheco, and then Deshaun Watson, a QB here. And there you go. Here's the kicker run here. So basically, they're saying if you get auto picked, you're getting defense and kicker around 8 and 9, which kind of blows Yahoo. You got to get those rankings down. That's not good. But yeah, don't draft defense and kicker this high, guys. I have solutions for you. We'll make those our last 2 picks in the draft. That's always how I do it. Always how I do it. You want to do defense and then kicker. Kicker's the last pick for sure. Defense is your second to last pick. So we'll see what we can scrounge up here. But so far we're doing so good. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you guys are new. That does help my channel grow. And I just want to thank you guys because we've had a really good last month of stats on YouTube. You guys are coming through, liking the video, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff. So say hi in the comments. We're going to be doing this all season too, guys. Like I put out waiver wire content. We do start sits. We do live streams. We help you guys with your questions. So we're in it for the long haul here, trying to help you guys win your championship. So we'll see what we can do here. I mean, Pat Frymouth is my next pick if I can get him here. I don't feel great about it because it's basically been auto-picked to death here in the 8th and 9th round. But if we can get Pat, and there he goes, Pat goes. So now we're like one of the last teams without a tight end. I don't necessarily need one. But let's see. Godwin, Pittman, Christian Kirk. I like Christian Kirk quite a bit. I also like George Pickens quite a bit as well. Let's go ahead and grab George Pickens. Just get you one of those Steeler wide receivers on the squad. We missed Deontay Johnson. I love George Pickens. And then we're going to go to the running back well here. Herbert's a good one. Antonio Gibson's a good one. But I'm going to get the starting running back for the Commanders, Brian Robinson. I think he's got 1,000 yards in his upside this year and maybe 6, 7, 8 touchdowns. And it sure sounds like he's going to be more used in the passing game this year. So we got 2 Commanders on our bench, Dotson and Brian Robinson. That's probably good on Commanders. But we're 4 deep at receiver. We're 4 deep at running back. We have 1, 2 bench spots left and a starting tight end position to fill. I'm going to direct you guys to some tight end sleepers. Like Njoku is free in this. And basically, if you don't get a top 10 tight end, I recommend taking 2. I'm assuming Njoku's going to get drafted, but Dalton Kincaid, starting tight end for the Bills, he's not a tight end. He's pretty much the next Travis Kelce is what they're saying. Otherwise, I want 2 of these tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, Jake Ferguson, Juwan Johnson, and Luke Musgrave. 2 of those guys will be enough. And you just play the matchups and you play the hot hand whenever you need to. So that's pretty much all you need to know there. But there's going to be some players that fall to us here. It looks like Njoku just went. Evan Ingram just went. Khalil Herbert is a great pick at this point of the draft. You got some decent veteran receivers here. Gabe Davis is a great pick. I love Gibson, A.J. Dillon, Jamal Williams. Rookie receivers, Jordan Addison off the board here. And again, I mentioned I have 2 more bench spots left. I'm going to wait on tight ends still. I probably have to grab a tight end with one of these picks, though. We're going to make a walk-off wide receiver pick here. It's probably going to be Sky Moore for me. Otherwise, Zay Flowers probably should be the pick. Elijah Moore is another good pick, but he just went. Traylon Burks is a really fun player to grab, too. But for me, I do want a wide receiver 5. It's going to be Sky Moore or Zay Flowers. Choose whatever one you like. I think Sky Moore is going to be the wide receiver 1 for Lamar Jackson this year, so that is exciting to me. And then Sky Moore, man, like he's the starting slot receiver for Patrick Mahomes, which is super exciting. I mean, we saw Juju Smith-Schuster have a decent season last year. I think he finished up as a wide receiver 3. So Sky Moore, Zay Flowers, both great picks. I'm going to go with the rookie because I don't have a rookie on the squad yet. And then we're going to grab our first tight end here. We're going to make it Dalton Kincaid. We might start him week 1 again. So the thing with Kincaid is he's not a tight end. Like, they're going to leave Dawson Knox at the tight end spot. Knox is going to have his hand in the dirt, as most tight ends do. But Dalton Kincaid, man, he's going to be lining up as a flanker, out wide. He's going to be on the field a lot. Like, he is their wide receiver 3. You're going to see Gabe Davis on the field a ton. You're going to see Stephon Diggs on the field. Those 2 guys aren't going to come off the field. They're going to run a lot of Dalton Kincaid, man. They're going to get 2 tight ends on the field, and they're going to have fun getting their rookie tight end a ton of targets. So I think we're doing really, really well here. We're going to walk off with one of my tight ends. Ferguson is the pick. He's the starting tight end for Dallas. We've seen Dalton Schultz excel in this role for the last 2-3 seasons and be a top 10 tight end. Jake Ferguson is probably a better prospect than Dalton Schultz athletically, and he can block, he can run and pass block, and he's a really good field stretcher. So I love Jake Ferguson. I don't have a Cowboy on this team. I do have Pollard, actually. So we're leaning into the Cowboys a bit here, but I really like this team. I think we're having a lot of fun with this draft. Let's go ahead and look at the recap here. Zach Charbonnet is a great pick this late. Traylon Burks is a great pick. Kenny G, I love Kenneth Gainwell on my bench. I think he's a fantastic pick. But the draft is pretty much done at this point. I know I'm grabbing one more tight end, and then I know I need a kicker and a defense. So after my 13th and 14th round here, I'm probably going to sign off. We'll recap the team. I'm going to go watch some preseason football here. Jair says, so what's your prediction? Then how many games do you think Judy and JSN will miss? I'm going to say Judy misses 2 games, and I think JSN misses 3 to 4 games with their injuries. But I'm on deck here. I'm gonna grab my tight end that I want, and then we'll pick the best defense available that I see fit. Jake Ferguson is the ultimate sleeper tight end. I like Juwan Johnson. I love Luke Musgrave as well. I think the Packers offense is kind of a sleeper offense for me, but Jake Ferguson is the dude. Let's go ahead and look at the team defenses here. And they gave me the best one. The team that you want all season long on your defense is going to be the New Orleans Saints. They have the easiest strength of schedule the entire year. They're going to take care of the football. They're going to run the ball. They're going to be a good team. You got the dome games. Like, the Saints are the team that you want to start all season. If you want a team for week 1, go with Baltimore. They play Houston. Or go with Washington. They play the Cardinals, and we don't even know who their quarterback is. So that's how I'm drafting things. But there you go. That's the team. Quarterback 1 is Justin Herbert. Receivers are Devonta Smith and DK Metcalf. Running back, we started running back with the draft. Bijan and Tony Pollard. Dalton Kincaid is at the tight end. And then our flex competition is between David Montgomery, Mike Williams, Jahan Dotson, George Pickens, Brian Robinson, and Zay Flowers. And then we got a Jake Ferguson on the end of the bench as our backup tight end. So I absolutely love this draft. I think this is a really good plan for you if you're picking from the 10th spot in the 10-team league. Kicker, I don't care who I take. If I just give you a kicker real quick, I'm going to probably go with the Lions kicker. He's in a dome. They're going to score a lot of points. I like the Lions kicker. So that's it for me, though, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me in this mock draft. If you want to check out some of my other mock drafts, I'm probably going to post a link in the comments to all my other mock drafts. So thanks for hanging out, guys. And again, Saturday morning, I'm doing my mock draft marathon from 9 a.m. Central Time to 2-3 hours. Like, we're going to go and just mock draft ESPN, Yahoo, Sleeper, Draft Wizard, all that good stuff. So come hang out, join the live stream. We'll answer questions, and you guys can mock with us. So have a good rest of your night. Go watch some preseason football, guys. Peace.